Let's not call it climate dictatorship. Let's call it climate socialism. I'm okay with that one. Yeah, it is. Our humans are really strange beings, and how we tend to move away from doing the right thing sometimes for unusual purposes. Now, this is getting a bit dated now. I don't know if any of you remember this book. It's called 6 Degrees: Our Future on a Hotter Planet. It was winner of the 2008 Royal Society Science Book Prize. So Linus looked at all of the scientific literature to get a handle on, well, what would these increases in global average temperatures actually mean? For 1 degree, we're talking about fresh water loss from a third of the world's surface, low-lying coastlines flooded. That's things that we're starting to experience now. A 2 degree increase. What do we know about 2 degrees? Well, if you remember back in 1992, when 192 countries signed on to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And then it just keeps, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Even though I'm smiling, I try to be optimistic about these things. The 3 degree increase, the death of the Amazon rainforest, 4 degree increase of global temperature. Global warming becomes unstoppable because of the permafrost thawing and releasing methane. Britain made uninhabitable. The Mediterranean region abandoned because it's too warm. 5 degrees Celsius, the humans migrate in search of food. 6 degrees, life on Earth ends with apocalyptic storms, flash floods, hydrogen sulfide gas, and methane fireballs racing across the globe with the power of atomic bombs. Only fungi survive. Wow. I think it'd be really worthwhile to update that book. It's been a few years. It's been a decade. But this gives us a sense of how, given the path that we're on, we're kind of screwed. Why is it our fault? Well, if we look at the just pre-industrial times to today, so if we're reading this graph the other way, we're going left to right, looking at 1800 coming up to 2019 as the last year on our data here. Now, what we're looking at here are the carbon dioxide emissions from the burning of fossil fuels for energy and cement production. Land use changes not included, but I just wanted to show you that really since 1950, we've just had this huge exponential growth in the release of carbon dioxide emissions. So even though we've known about the science behind the burning of fossil fuels, of CO2 emissions, and that them accumulating in the atmosphere, we've known about that for 140 years. How do we know that our releases are humans' fault and maybe not volcanoes' fault, or the oceans are releasing these things? Well, this is one of the things I like to call an anthropogenic fingerprint. Is that we can tell the carbon molecule has a certain isotope if it's from burning of fossil fuels or if it's something that's released from plants. And so it's these carbon isotope ratios that allow us to see that growth in the atmospheric concentration is coming from our burning of fossil fuels and not from other sources. And now it's going to get worse. These are some of those greenhouse gases: carbon dioxide, methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, hydrochlorofluorocarbons. So there's a lot of these gases, that we produce through human activity, the fossil fuel combustion, landfills, driving our cars, manufacturing, fertilizing our food, substitutions for chlorofluorocarbons. So it's affecting basically all of the human activity that we engage ourselves in really contributes to these atmospheric greenhouse gases. I've made a great career. I've been in this business of climate change for 33 years now. When I retire, I'm happy to take a third of a cut in my pension to help save the planet. I just don't think there are that many other people who would. I keep doing what I'm doing, which is presenting this doomsday scenario to my students in such a way that they can have hope. And that's where I see the hope, if there's anywhere. I don't see any hope in the old folks like us who are set in our ways and spoiled to the teeth in terms of our lifestyle. But there's a significant amount of younger individuals that I come across who are willing to forego what we've come to take for granted in terms of expediency of transportation systems, in terms of fashion design, everything that's, that led us to the stage that we're at right now.